Attention Central Georgia, it's that time again for the publication of the new 2015-16 Macon Middle Georgia Black Page. So you want to be a part of it because the theme is Make More Green in 2015. Call today, 478-464-0074 and find out how we can help you make more green in 2015. Too often I hear the expression in Macon in Central Georgia, well, you know, there really ain't nothing to do in Macon. And just as often, I say, yes, there is. Because there are all kinds of opportunities and events and occurrences that are often happening oftentimes in our community. And somehow I guess a lot of people miss them. Well, I'm here today to tell you that I'm going to tell you about one that you don't want to miss. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alexander Sherman. That event that I'm talking about is not only a great event, it's not only for a great institution, but it's with a great entertainer. And it's also for a great purpose. So I have with me today Miss Rhmc Patterson. And she's going to tell you about all her positions, but I'm going to be the first to say that Stephanie Mills is coming to Macon, Georgia for an event, and you take it away, Miss Patterson, as a list of why she's coming, your position, and all of that good stuff.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. And yes, Stephanie Mills is coming to Macon. She's coming for All That Jazz, the Tubman Museum's grandest fundraising event, the City of Macon's best event for 2015. So you're right, no one should ever want to miss this event. It's happening on January 31st. The doors will open at 7 p.m. and I can't say it enough, you don't want to miss it.
Yo, absolutely. Matter of fact, I was at the Black Pages Mixer last night, and of course you came by there. And then when you came to make this presentation that she's coming, you know, and we're going to talk about those balcony seats, but, you know, the job put on, you know, this song, and I said, is that Stephanie? You know, something that you gave me stayed in my heart. That's what I can say. But that's close. But she's a phenomenal lady, and she's got all kind of songs, you know, and, you know, I heard a young lady say today, matter of fact, I just interviewed her and said she's one of the few entertainers who can really sound good in person. You know, some people sound good, you know, like on the radio and recording,
right.
But they say her music and her style and her voice are absolutely phenomenal. But before we talk too much about that, talk a little bit more about the Tubman and its mission and what you all are trying to do, and the new facility.
Great. Well, the Tubman has been in Macon for years. It was founded in 1983 and opened the doors in 1985, so we're talking over 30 years. And so now they're getting ready to go into their new site sometime this spring, between spring and summer. So we're very, very happy to have that happen because, you know, this community has been working long and hard to make sure that the Tubman opened its doors. The Tubman Museum is the largest African American museum in the Southeast, and its mission and purpose is to educate people about African American art history and culture, and you just wouldn't have a better site to have that. So we're talking about honoring people of color in the military, through arts, through education, and so it's just awesome. With this new building, though, it's giving them the space to bring in awesome exhibits that you'll see somewhere like New York or DC, so we'll be able to bring them home here. So it's very exciting to have this happen.
And it's also very exciting that, you know, we're just right on the brink of Black History Month, and since I'm sure that we all want to play some kind of role in acknowledging, Black History Month. So one role you can play is just go to the event, and that will help the Tubman. It will also be entertaining. But you don't have to wait on an event now, because the Tubman Museum is our organization. So talk about how people can be involved in other activities of the Tubman.
Right. I think first and foremost, and especially with the All That Jazz event, it does have a threefold mission with it. First and foremost, it's a fundraiser. The money raised for All That Jazz goes into the operating of the museum. That means keeping the lights on. How important that is. And the second thing is to bring a wonderful first-class event to Macon, Georgia, so everybody can come out and have a good time. And the third point is that this is a springboard for the opening of the museum. There'll be a lot of things happening throughout the year, but this All That Jazz is a springboard for what we're calling the Year of the Tubman, for when this new site opens. But not only should you buy a ticket to this event, but you can also join the Tubman as a member, become a member of the Tubman, so that way every 365 days out of the year you're involved with what's going on there. Become a member, volunteer there, help out. There are a lot of different opportunities out there for you to assist the Tubman.
And it's not that expensive to become a member.
Oh, not at all. No.
So I don't know whether you know right off what it is, but it's not.
No, family membership is something like $25.
Wow.
But call the museum 743-8544, and they'll be glad to help.
Yeah. And then I want to mention to everybody too, because that building, frankly, has been there so long, kind of idle, right at the bottom of Cherry Street, right by the terminal station. They've had that frame up there a long time. And a lot of times when people come to town, they say, "What is that? What is that?" Well, now they will know what it is. Now it's our facility, it's our museum, and that we should really play a role in, in trying to make sure that it works. Talk about the event again and the tickets. Give us the real rundown.
Okay.
Before we do that, this is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Habersham, talking to Miss Renita Patterson, who's the chairperson of the All That Jazz Committee. Is that close enough?
Event planner, chair. I'm just one of the many making this happen.
Yeah, she's making it happen, and we're happy to have her today. And we're talking about All That Jazz, which is an annual event for the Tubman. But you're going to have a lot of stuff going on that night. It's not just Stephanie. What else is it?
Right, we've got a great opening act, Jimmy Mills and the GQ Band. They're going to kick things off for us. It's going to be very, very exciting. Of course, great food, so you can't beat it. The Marriott does a wonderful job in catering, so we're excited about that. Fellowshipping with everybody else around, who have tables there. And of course, then we'll have Stephanie Mills, who is our keynote. And after that, we'll have an after party with AJ the DJ. Can't go wrong with that, Yeah. He'll be playing, everybody's favorite old school, whatever it is that you want to dance to.
He's absolutely phenomenal. How about now? What do you need to do? What about ticket prices?
Tickets, now we have floor seating, so if you want a floor seat, call the Tubman, 743-8544, or go online, www.tubmanmuseum.com. If you want balcony seats, you can't beat a $25 ticket. Those tickets are being sold through Ticketmaster.
$25.
$25.
Yeah, but suppose somebody wants a whole table.
Oh, awesome. And I'm glad you asked that, because tables are still available. In fact, sponsorships are available. So call the Tubman at any time and they'll be glad to help you.
743-8544. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
All That Jazz appearing at the
City Auditorium
on
January 31st
at
7 o'clock.
And we want you to.
Be there.
This is a call to action.
Call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Havisham, having interviewed Miss Renita Patterson of the Tubman Museum. Looking forward to seeing you at All That Jazz. Have a great day.
The Charles H. Jones Family Foundation and Macon Urban Radio Alliance presents the 19th annual All That Jazz Concert and Ball featuring Stephanie Mills, a legendary Grammy and American Music Award-winning recording artist with 5 best-selling albums and 10 Billboard #1 singles on January 31st at the Macon City Auditorium, 415 First Street in the heart of downtown Macon. It's Stephanie Mills. All That Jazz is the Tubman Museum's largest fundraiser for their education and outreach program. 19th annual All That Jazz Concert and Ball featuring Stephanie Mills.
I think of a place where there's love overflowing.
I guess it's time for us to kind of sit back and take a deep breath so that we can relax and understand and realize the importance of history. And sometimes we are so involved in the hustle and bustle of everyday life until we tend to forget where we came from. And so this is an important time of the year, every year, because particularly for African Americans, it's a time that we kind of reflect on our history. And I'll just tell you, that that's one of the problems in our community is that we've kind of forgotten our history, we've forgotten the struggle, we've forgotten the progress, we've forgotten the responsibilities, we've forgotten the obligations that we have to those individuals, particularly African Americans and some majority Americans, who played a role in the development and the advancement of the Negro race. So I'm more than a little humbled and more than a little happy to be able to bring to you this program today that's going to look at our history, first from a historical perspective with Dr. Thomas Duval, and really from a not so historical perspective, yet historical, from a later perspective with Miss Jerry McCord. So first of all, we're going to let Dr. He has such a vast amount of knowledge about his history, and really deservedly so because he is a Duval. You know, who the family that has a long history of business and community involvement in Macon. So we're going to let him begin by telling a little bit about himself.
I'm Dr. Thomas Duval. I grew up here in Macon, Georgia. My father was William Duval, and my father, along with his father and great-grandfather, ran Paul Duval and Son. It started in 1883. And lasted until about 2001. It at one time was probably the oldest black business in the state of Georgia. We did upholstering, we did awnings, we repaired furniture. Actually, we probably did the chairs we're sitting in right now. But that's my history. I had the opportunity to work in public health. I spent the first part of my career in the prison system, so I learned firsthand where our young men are ending up. And in the latter part of my career, I was Georgia's first African-American state dental director. And along with my duties, one of my duties was water fluoridation. And I ran the water fluoridation program, and of course Georgia has an outstanding track record in terms of fluoridation. Because, for example, California has just in the last 5 to 10 years come on board with fluoridation, and we've had it for years and years. So Georgia has a lot of firsts. And one of the most interesting things to me in my retirement has been researching, first of all, my own family's history, and secondly, the glorious history of Macon and Middle Georgia. The saddest thing to me is that we have a wonderful, glorious history here in Macon, Georgia, but unfortunately our children don't know it. And it's very important for them to learn this history at a relatively young age because they need this history to build self-esteem and to learn, as you've spoken, their obligation to their ancestors. So I've come up with this term, ancestral obligation, African American ancestral obligation. And basically it's just that the old people need to teach the young people, and the young people need to learn the history and accept their ancestral obligation to achieve. So the real goal in my mind in terms of education strategies is to motivate our children to want to learn.
A call to
I'm
action.
your host, Alex Halversham. We are having such an informative and interesting interview about ancestral history, ancestral obligation, and Dr. Duval has some real strong feelings on that, like I do. And we've talked some about some black history, and all of this is so very important, and we are so much in awe about the information that he's telling us until he's got a special announcement as it relates to that. We also have Miss Jerry McCord here of the Ruth Hartley Mosley Center, and there are some current activities that are going to be going on relative to African American history, black history in certain areas. She's going to have some activities that she wants you to attend. But meanwhile, we're going to go back to Dr. Duval and let him kind of wrap up this element, but keep in mind that you will be able to get more of this kind of information. Doc?
Yeah, I was talking to my good friend Wilford Anderson about a month or so ago, and Dr. Anderson, he's a physician now, told me that his dad had been a Tuskegee Airman. What I did not realize was that the man that I grew up with, you know, and I would actually come across on Cotton Avenue, by the way, was a Tuskegee Airman, because there was a bomber group. And most of us have never heard about the bombers that were a part of the Tuskegee Airmen. But anyway, he told me that story, and it's a great story. And I've made arrangements to have this information put in the museum down in Warner Robins. So this is a perfect example of history that most of us don't know about, and we've lived here all our lives, we still don't know about it. And so that's why I've gotten involved with the Ruth Hartley Mosley Center, and Miss Jerry McCord is going to tell us about the activities that we have coming up for Black History Month.
Thank you, and it's good to be here. And when I first came on board at the Ruth Hartley Mosley Center, Dr. Duval and I, we talked, and that was one of the things that we really talked about a lot and had in common, that, you know, we wanted to really do something that was unique and different in Macon and make people in Macon aware, because, you know, we both have talked about, you know, the negativity that's in Macon, especially that it relates to our young people. And we were so committed to want to do something to break that cycle, to change those mindsets. And we came up with our celebration. We want to celebrate Macon's Black history. And we said the word Macon because there's so much history in Macon that we're not aware of. And I'm just so happy to connect with Dr. Duval that have a wealth of information to share with us, and he will be sharing it on a continuous basis during the month of February. But what we're doing here, that's sponsored by the Ruth Hartley Mosley Center, we're having our celebration, like I said, of Macon's Black history in music, in freedom, and in religion. And we have some top-notch speakers and presenters coming in. On the 5th of February, we will have Carla Redding Andrews. That's, if you don't know, the big old Otis Redding's daughter. And who better to tell us about the impact of Macon's Black musical legacy around the world. And, you know, starting with Otis, you know, he was known around the world. And she's going to kind of talk about that perspective of Macon's impact in the music world. And we have, on the 12th of February, Julia Ellen Craft Davis. And that should not be a person in Macon that's not familiar with the story of William and Ellen Craft, but I'm pretty sure, as I sit here, there are some people that have never heard of it, just like they've never heard of the Ruth Hartley Mosley Center. So, I'm just emphasizing because I really, really think it's so important, especially for our young people. There got to be some teachers and some principals and some educators and parents that are out there listening to this program. And I urge you to call us and plan to attend these events because, and I'm not going to talk too much about the William and Ellen Craft story because I want you to come and hear the story.
Right.
So, but just know that it is an awesome story about Macon. And, you know, if you want to Google ahead of time, you know, Google, but I'm not telling you because I want you to come and hear it firsthand. And on the 19th of February, we have Marie Jones. Marie Jones is a native of Macon. She lived away for a while, and now she's back in the Middle Georgia area. And she has an awesome story. She's going to tell us the extraordinary story of the Black Methodists and the important role that these churches and the laborers played in building Macon.
Wow.
And I'm sure, like I'm telling you, I am just in awe of what we're bringing to you because it's just such an awesome and phenomenal series. And what better way to have a group of powerful women representing the Ruth Hartley Mosley Center telling Macon's story. And that's why I keep emphasizing Macon's story because so many people in Macon don't realize that Macon have a story to tell. And
it's a very, very important story. I am so excited. I am so excited about this interview today. I'm excited about Dr. Duval, and he's going to be continuing some vignettes on the show as it relates to this information. I am equally as excited about Sister Jerry McCord here, who's the Executive Director of the Ruth Hartley Mosley Center. And, you know, and see, this is wholesome. What's that? It's ancestral.
African American ancestral obligation.
You see, it's part of our ancestral obligation to attend these events. We're going to have an event on the 5th, event on the 12th, and an event on the 19th. And we invite the whole community to come to learn about these entities that are going to be discussed. And if you want to know more information, Dr. Duval is chairman of the board of the Ruth Hartley Mosley Center. So Sister McCord knows how to get in touch with him. So all you need to do is to call the Ruth Hartley Mosley Center at 478-742-6409 if you're interested in receiving more information. I want to thank you all I want to thank you for your interest and your enthusiasm, and I want to encourage everybody. Make yourself a committee of one to learn just as much about Black history as you can, and buy into it. That it's your ancestral obligation, to foster Black history and all that it means, has meant, and will mean to our community. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Habersham. Have a great day.
This was a
www.makingblackpages.com.
Attention Central Georgia, it's that time again for the publication of the new 2015-16 Macon Middle Georgia Black Page. So you want to be a part of it because the theme is Make More Green in 2015. Call today, 478-464-0074, and find out how we can help you make more green in 2015.
The Charles H. Jones Family Foundation and Macon Urban Radio Alliance presents the 19th annual All That Jazz Concert and Ball featuring Stephanie Mills, a legendary Grammy and American Music Award-winning recording artist with 5 best-selling albums and 10 Billboard #1 singles on January 31st at the Macon City Auditorium, 415 First Street in the heart of downtown Macon. It's Stephanie Mills. All That Jazz is the Tubman Museum's largest fundraiser for their education and outreach program. 19th annual All That Jazz Concert and Ball featuring Stephanie Mills.